now more in control of transactions, or at least we feel we are. Duty drawback is important for us. We have a lot of affiliates, as I said, throughout the world. We do supply material to them. That finished product comes back to the U.S. Duty drawback, there's a big benefit on getting money back. And today, for us to get that money back is like pulling teeth. It's a very lot of data pulled from there, and half the time we're probably not really getting back what we could when we do drawback. So we're setting ourselves up to do some things in that area to get some money back, and people that paid for GTS are very happy about that. They wish it could be in place tomorrow. But. And again, these are mandatory electronic filing requirements. They are being done today, but now we're going to do them through using GTS. We are on 8.0 right now in GTS. As Raj mentioned, it's near automation, both on AES and ISF. We do map as much information as possible from the ERP system, but it's not possible to get it all. So some information we don't have until the forwarder gives us the documents, things like the vessel name, etc. So then there's minimal entry in GTS to do that. So we're getting there, but it's not totally impossible, but we map as much as possible over from the ERP system. For AES, we are a self-filer, but the forwarder is pressing the button on our system. Just so you know, there was a debate whether that was legally possible. Because Customs declares, you are the self-filer, you are Rhodia. But we did get a ruling from Customs that will allow the broker to press the button. Now don't use that verbatim, get your own ruling from Customs. So they have our systems, which is, we give them a Citrix client, so they log into our system. There's only one transaction they have access to, so the role is very, very limited. And they have that information that we would have to enter, so that additional information they enter, and they press the button to do it, but they do the transaction on our system. And again, so in the future, where we're going is the filing is done in our system, so now we have all the data to hopefully support duty drawback in the future, which we'll be doing a report in the business warehouse. So we're setting ourselves up for that. ISF is truly, we are the self-filer. These are people that sit in Cranberry, New Jersey, that are import clerks, and they've been trained to use the transactions to do the self-filing. It's working very well on the ISF side. So truly, we have taken that away from a forwarder or a broker. We're doing it ourselves now today. So also another benefit, duty calculation is something else that we're doing. Just so you know, GTS. Today we were using a freight condition in our POs to do that. It was a mess. So what we're doing now is we're doing the calculation in GTS, and we're actually sending data back to the PO to put the condition in there. Finance is ecstatic about this because it's very accurate. We don't have to. People don't have to remember to add the condition in the purchasing info record, etc. And the reconciliation process now is much smoother. So we do get a statement from Customs once a month, and now we're going to be more accurate. Now we've only been a couple months into this, so we're going to see the benefits real soon for that. So we've made a lot of people happy as far as duty calculation is concerned. And again, we'll feed the data warehouse for duty drawback in the future. Again, there's a reduction in order processing, procurement cycle time, less manual intervention, and there's transparency because we're looking at our own system for all these transactions now, not depending on information coming from forwarders. And we're ensuring that we're in line with import and export compliance. Of course, if we are audited again, we're going to go to one system of record to be able to supply all those audit points. So, I remember I told you about that one woman that does compliance. When when, even in our project, when we need the availability of this woman, when customs is in to do an audit, she has no time to do anything. And part of that is sorting through all this paper and subsystems to help support their point. So she literally will spend weeks with the auditor sometimes and can do nothing else. So hopefully in the future, with GTS and be able to show them our transparency, that the audits will be much quicker.
Yeah, just a side point out on customs audits. For those of you that haven't gone through a customs audit, you've got IRS audits, you've got sales and use tax audits, there's all sorts of audits you can undergo as a company. Customs audits are one of the most invasive audits that you can undergo. Sales and use tax is probably the second most invasive.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah,
but that's another person.
Really difficult audits.
So, some key learnings. I'm in IT, as I told you. I'm learning a lot about compliance going along. I did support our legacy system for import tracking, which we called it import tracking. Don't ever tell SAP GTS is an import tracking tool. It can be, but it's not. It really is not intended to be that. And get guidance. We went in partnership with Krypt, which is a niche market. They have a lot of experience in the GTS market, and they've helped us out a lot. We did purchase GTS, as I said, in the beginning of our implementation. It was very, very rushed, and actually GTS was minimally set up to produce the import customs filing declarations, but basically what we did was produce two outputs, an import master and a broker's manifest to give back to the broker to do our filing. That's what it was done. So we really didn't know what we were getting into, and then 2 years later we started doing projects again in North America to use GTS to its full benefit and to do it right. The one thing we didn't do is we didn't get guidance on, right up front, classify all your materials in GTS. It's the driver for everything we do in compliance, trade preference, etc. So of course, someone gave them guidance on just apply the tariffs to the materials you think you're going to be managing. Well, in trade preference, you can't do that. And, so when we started over again, really we started with classifying all our materials up front. It was a big job, so every raw material, we classify packaging materials also. Another ruling from one of our consultants told us that would be a good idea to include in our processes. So that's what I said. Start with getting all your materials classified in GTS, because it's going to be your driver for everything else you're going to do. All your other government agency codes also. There's a lot. Like I said, I'm learning myself, so depends on what business you're in. Learn about the cost savings. Like I said, even though our forwarder is pressing the button on the AS side, it's still a cost saving to us. If they do it in our system, it's a certain dollar amount. If we do it in their system, it's another. Now there is a workaround. Sometimes if we do have problems, this isn't perfect. Sometimes data doesn't come back in time to meet cutoffs. So sometimes they have to do the workaround is they will do the filing in their system. So we're saying that some of that is data. Some data on our side is coming over with like some special characters. So we got to go back and clean up, like say an address, and then resubmit. And the brokers get a little antsy, and they tend to want to do it in their system. They also are getting more money to do it in their system also. On the ISF side, we're saving money completely. We're doing all the transactions ourselves now, and that's working really well. So
that's a really important point with ISF, because with ISF, Customs set that up and said you just need to give this kind of a placeholder tariff code, and we're not really going to ping you later if it doesn't match up. But the reality of it is Customs does look at what did you say on the ISF, what did you say on the entry, and do they really match? So it's good to have it coming out of one system. Like you said, your ISF is looking at your GTS product master and pulling your HTS, and your entry is looking at your GTS product master and pulling your HTS. So match is no problem.
Yeah, and this side is working out well. It was pretty easy to train the import team on how to do the following filings, and they do have some issues every once in a while, but I tell you, my colleague does a lot of support on the ISF side, not me as much, but I know it's not as much for ISF. AES, we have a lot of support, quite more because we have different folders. And as we said, this is going to allow us, in fact, I'm talking to Siva, one of our brokers we're not so hot on, but he's not so good. But we're gonna consolidate. Actually, by using GTS, we're gonna eliminate him. Either get a different partner, or partner that we have them on using our GTS also, and just give them more of our business. So we're consolidating and narrowing the field a little bit. So
yeah, to add to what Mike said is with the GTS Rhodia model is they provide the GTS system to the forwarding agent. So to use any forwarding agent is a matter of bringing them, train them how to use the system, and they're set to start using because there is no interface because you are giving your system to them to use. So there is no setup cost or a interface building. It's just a matter of training them and plug and play. They start ready to use.
And they've been pretty receptive about doing it for us. So again, I thought when we brought them into training, he's very adversarial. But it wasn't. They were more than happy to do it. Some of them do it for other customers also use their system, so it wasn't new to them.
Mike, quick question. In terms of your forwarders, are they pretty niche, or are you dealing with like the Panalpinas and larger ones as well?
In Europe, they use Palapini. We don't use Palapini. We use like mostly for imports UTC. And then there's a couple other, there's many more on the export side.
They use, for an export side, they have 3 different forwarding agents they have been engaging. But all the 3 of them are currently used. Like I would say, the amount of number of transactions goes to GTS close to 95 to 98%. That is, the goal is 100% they want to pass them through GTS. All the 3 forwarding agents have access to the GTS system. Now Rhodia is in a better position. When they want to bring the whole page into in-house, they need to add a couple of heads to that or use the existing team to manage it. But Rhodia was not very keen to handle the forwarding agent work, rather use them as integrated system so that they can operate on their system to process the transaction. The key benefits are you are having integrated data in one place. You are not dealing with a broker system or a forwarding agent system to extract the data. And the second thing is easier for you to do the reporting and audit requirement, all the information in place. And another benefit is the cost. But whenever we have interacted with the Rhodia, the key business process owners, he always say the cost is another benefit, but I would say integrated system is a primary benefit what I'm looking at, having a GTS. Whenever we go back and ask him what is ROI, can we do some calculation, he says, I'm benefiting with the integrated system. And another benefits are there, but I don't really make them as a big tool. But it is adding a value at the end of the day.
Yeah. I left out our volumes. I mean, our volumes, exports and imports, we do thousands of transactions on both sides. And also another benefit, we do a lot of business in Brazil. We have a lot of imports from Brazil. And it's always a challenge to get information from Brazil when the material is going to be on the vessel and so on. So actually, we gave them access to GTS, and they agreed. So they're doing the ISF filing on behalf of North America for our Brazilian imports. They are a Rhodia compliance team in Brazil. They don't use GTS if you do business in Brazil. GTS is not ready in Brazil, but we got their compliance team to agree that instead of this communication gap of going back and forth of when did it leave, and part of the reason is because the value of the material constantly changes in Brazil. They don't know to the last minute, and for many other reasons there. So they know. They know me, so actually we gave them access to GTS, the Rhodia employees, and they're doing the ISF on behalf of the North American imports. So we have actually more information in the supply chain teams of when these imports are coming.
It's a very good, good benefit. That model initially they thought through It was kind of more of a buy-in from the Brazil